Hey guys, I'm just doing a recap of Jesus Walks, the affairs of the people, the second part. We talked about healing, we talked about um, those that are hungry, and we talked about those that are hurting. And just to be brief with you guys, when we look at the situation in which we're talking about healing, we looked at the situation with the man with the withered hand, and we saw that um, those good old Pharisees, uh, they were against the fact of um, Jesus actually healing his hand on the Sabbath. But again, we realize that Jesus cares about the affairs of the people. Um, we realize that it was important for him, okay, um, to not have tradition be something that blocks the idea of impacting the life of someone, okay. Are there any areas where, you know, we could be free, but we allow um, for tradition or the way that things have always been to be a hindrance to our deliverance, to our healing? Um, was it more important that the affair of a person's life, a man who dealt with possible ridicule and loneliness, the fact that he wanted to be healed, was that wrong? Um, when you look at Mark 3, 4, and 5, and you see the anger of Jesus, the anger was geared towards the fact that, again, traditions meant more than the fact that someone's life could be changed, someone's life could be impacted. So again, Jesus cares about the affairs of the people. Um, Also, when we talk about healing, why is it that when the man that was sick with palsy, when he when his I'll say his brothers, but his homeboys, his homies, when they took the roof off of the house, okay, did such a great faith thing? Why is it that after they did all of that and got the attention of Jesus, that the first thing that he said is that your sins are forgiven? Wait, what about the healing? This is what we came for. But it's important that we addressed, or that it's important that Jesus addressed the idea of sin, because sin is we've learned this in our Bible studies, that sin is a relationship issue. Okay. Oftentimes, if you can fix um, issues within a relationship, okay, the relationship itself is salvageable. Okay. Um, and Jesus was the perfect person to address sin because he was headed to the cross to deal with sin. Okay. If you're giving your life for sin, okay, then you have more than the right to address it. Okay. In relationships, it behooves us to do the things that the other party likes, and stay away from those things that they don't. You would imagine that that's common sense, but that's typically not how relationships go nowadays. So again, sin is a relationship concern. Um, when we talk about those that were hungry, we know that Jesus fed those who um, followed him. It was over 5,000 people, and he did it on two occasions. Um, One thing we don't pay attention to as much as why he did it. Okay, we it's such a miracle that there was the five loaves and two fishes, but what about the idea that um, he cared about the affairs of the people? What affairs? He said, I believe it was in verse 34, um, that they were like sheep without a shepherd. In other words, they were people who were hungry, but they had no guidance. They had no one to lead them. Okay, something as simple as that. How many young people have potential in our world today? People will say that hashtag whatever, and that not actually not be a characteristic of themselves, but hungry and humble. Hashtag hungry, hashtag humble. You know, but you could very much well be, but without any guidance or leadership, never get to that place where you need to get, where God has designed for you to get. Um, so that, I think, was something that needed to be pointed out, because we always talk about the miracle, but do we talk about the compassion? Essentially, that's what that is. the compassion of God cares about the affairs of the people. And then the last thing was hurting. And I really love how God broke this thing down to us because, we realized that the woman with the issue of blood, um, health issues, anyone who's ever been around someone who has health issues, you realize that they're not just health issues. They're issues that are mental issues that lead to people being depressed and hurt behind them. Can you imagine this woman? She spent everything that she had. She did everything that she could possibly do. Imagine that the next time you have an issue where you bleed, you could potentially bleed out. You could potentially hemorrhage. you know so just imagining that as the days go by, things get worse. That hurts, to realize that you've tried everything in your power, keyword, everything in your power, and it still doesn't work. Which leads me to something deeper as I close. Oftentimes we bypass healing and the things that we need from God while we look to others that can't do what only God can do. We settle for things that don't heal, that oftentimes don't deal with the issue at the root. It's called surface healing. That's what I call it. And it ends up leaving us hurting because what we're seeking to get, we cannot get in any other place, from anything else, from anybody else. But what was important was that she felt that if she could just touch the hem of his garment, in other words, if she could just get in the presence of God, everything would be okay. Because once you get there, there's a feeling that no man, no woman, no drug or any other high can give you. I speak from experience. One touch can not only heal, can not only fix any hurt or repair any hurt, can not only take care of even some hunger, because some hunger goes beyond bread. The Bible says, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God. So, guys, I hope that this recap has been a blessing, that it was uh, much shorter than the actual, but I will leave a link to the actual complete Bible study, again, where we talked about um, those that are um, that need healing, those that are hungry, and essentially those that are hurt. God cares about the affairs of the people. Take care.